All right, here we go. So we're going to take the Rohan deck up against Journey Along the Anduin. This will be the final video in the 8-part video series here. And I wanted to talk about how this Rohan deck basically has two ways to play. So you got your standard hero lineup, which you can see here. And we are going to make changes to this lineup to make it more consistent. I played it a lot of times, and I know the changes I want to make. But I wanted to talk about the other hero that comes with this deck, and it's Fastrid. He's a good defender, which the lineup up above is lacking. So he defends for 3. He has 3 hit points. And then after he defends an enemy, you return that enemy to the staging area, and you get to reduce your threat by 2. That's an extremely helpful ability, especially against Journey Along the Anduin, where you want to keep your threat down. The problem is, if you only have the core set, there's really no good defensive boosting cards. There's events, but there's no cards that just boost his defense up as like an attachment, like a Gondorian shield, for example. And there are cards that come that are good for Rohan defenders, but we don't have access to those. But he's fine. He's a good defender. And then I would, look at Anduin, because if you're not going to run Éomer, it doesn't really make sense to run Lothiriel because she doesn't have Rohan. So Anduin could help you quests. And then, of course, the perfect companion to Fastrid is Dunhir, because he can attack enemies in the staging area, and if you give him a Spear of the Mark, he's attacking for 5. But now I'm sure you can see the problem. Spirit, Spirit, Spirit. Tactics. Kind of the same thing we had going with the Elves deck. Like, how do I get tactics in this lineup? So you need to have a tactics hero. Now, if you had access to tactics Anduin, problem solved. So if you have Tactics Anduin, she comes in the Flame of the West Deluxe. Just grab Tactics Anduin and put her in. That solves all your problems. But if you don't have her, Hirgan isn't a bad choice. He's questing for 2. He could help you play Tactics allies that you put in your deck. So I guess that's what I would do. So that's a deck you can play. But we are just going to make changes to this deck. So I've already done it. There really wasn't a lot of back and forth and me going through my thought process. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. So I dropped Gandalf. I added a second Gufluff because he's really the best defender we got, and he only costs 1 if you use Hirgan to pop him in. Got rid of the extra Eomunds. I only need 1. Hopefully I can use Lothiriel just to keep bouncing him in and out. I did a little rebalancing of the allies. I added all 3 Riddermark's Finest. That's a great way to get rid of the brown lands and other locations, because they can be discarded to place 2 progress, which will clear a lot of the troublesome locations in this quest. The biggest change is over here on the events and attachments. So 3 Ancient Mathams. We need card draw. So you need 3 of those, 3 Horns of the Mark. And this is the card you mulligan for. If you don't get Horn of the Mark in your opening hand, unless you drew 2 Ancient Mathams, where hopefully you can draw 6 cards. If you don't get Horn of the Mark, you just take a mulligan and you try to get Horn of the Mark. You absolutely need it, because this is how you're going to draw a card every time Lothiriel uses her ability. So hopefully you just keep kind of keeping that engine going. Put the ally in with Lothiriel's ability. It leaves play. Horn of the Mark replaces that card. Éomer is now boosted. I put in 1 copy of the Warhorse that can just ready Éomer after he attacks. So Éomer will be on a Warhorse named Firefoot. And then down here, I reduced the amounts of these expensive events to 1-ofs. They're nice events. I just, you only can have 50 cards. You can have more than that, but I want to keep it at 50. I added a 3rd Feint, and I added 3 Quick Strikes. And here's the thing with Rohan. You don't have a defender, so you have to get creative. So instead of defending, I'm going to be feinting, or I'm going to be playing Quick Strike. And if you imagine you're engaged with 2 enemies like the Orcs of Dol Guldur and the Misty Mountain Goblins, they could each be killed with a Quick Strike and Firefoot, because Firefoot tramples. So if you use Quick Strike on the 1, Éomer is probably attacking for 7. Quick Strike will kill the 1 enemy, and then Firefoot will trample over and kill the other enemy. So you're you're avoiding defense by killing first or fainting. You just have to get creative. The other way you can handle defense is you played a Muster of Rohan that round, and you have a bunch of allies in play that are going to leave anyway, so chumping is not a big deal. So that's the rebalancing of the deck. I'm sure this deck can beat the quest. You just got to get a little lucky and not get enemy swarmed. It quests fine, but honestly, the biggest roadblock to Rohan is card draw. So if we don't get a Horn of the Mark, it will be a long game, and you could lose because you're not replenishing cards in your hand. The board state is most likely always going to be pretty reduced. You're probably not going to be able to keep a lot of cards in play. That's kind of Rohan's thing, where they leave play, and at times it can be frustrating because it feels like you're never really building a board state. You just have to play your events at the right time, and the Rohan allies just keep coming and going and doing their thing, and hopefully that'll get us the victory. All right, I'm going to build this deck, and I will see you at the table. All right, let's see if Rohan can take this hill troll down. So the Riders of Rohan, I've just made some changes to the deck if you skipped the deck building part of the video. Here we have Letherial, so she's going to quest for 3, and then you can pop in an ally after everyone commits to the quest. Exhausted, committed to the quest, and then if that ally is still in play, at the end of the quest phase, you shuffle it back into your deck. So you will have an ally leaving play based on that ability. That is super helpful for... Hello, come back. All right, there he is. For Éomer, because he gets a 2 attack boost if an ally leaves play. So he'll be attacking for 5. So he's your attacker. Excellent ability. Éomer is so much fun. And then we are also joined by Hirgan, who is visiting from Gondor, and he's going to be questing for 2. And then after you quest successfully, so that means your willpower is greater than the threat, you can put in a tactics ally at a cost reduction of 1. So you do that actually before you place the progress. You do the math, and as long as you quested successfully, you get to put in that ally. I sometimes forget that, and I start to place the progress before I put in the ally. It's easy to do. It's a weird timing thing. So that's why this deck is the most complicated. You got a lot of weird timing stuff going on. Okay, Horn of the Mark. That's what we need. I'm hard mulliganing. That's a word. For it. It's basically the best way to keep this deck moving. You want to find Horn of the Mark, and then every time Letherial's ally leaves, it just gets replaced by another card. Hopefully it's another ally, and you can just keep triggering that. And, I mean, if you don't get it, it's a long game with top decking the entire time. Okay, that helps me find a mount. Nice ally to get in of Hirgan. Mustering of Rohan is great, really fun. There's my copy of Éomun. There's a Lancer and a Test of Will. Nice hand, no horn. Goodbye. We shuffle it back in. I mean, like I said, it's the card you need, guys. It's 3 of, and you dig for it. You dig real hard. In addition to that, I'm also just hoping to have a feint or a quick strike, because we have a hill troll coming in 3 rounds, and we need to have a plan for it. So we need to be ready for the hill troll, but nothing is more important than Horn of the Mark. So here we go. Gotta keep this hand. Whatever it is, this is the one I'm keeping. And we get... the Rimmark's Finest. Okay, glad to see that. Éomun's back. Another Mustering of Rohan. Is this the same card? Okay, Firefoot. The Oath of Arrow's nice. And a Knight. Didn't get it. Okay, it's going to be a slow game. So... using Letherial's ability will slowly deplete our hand. Now we need to randomly reveal a card. You know what we haven't had in this random reveal in the previous 3 games? A Treachery that whiffs. There's quite a few of them. I mean, Necromancer's Reach does nothing if you reveal it right now. And there's other treacheries that do nothing. Every game we've had a card that we've added to the staging area. It'd be nice if we get a card that does nothing. All right, let's see what we get. Well, ask and you shall receive. Haha! All right, cool. Remove 4 progress from the quest. That does nothing. All right, cool. All right, let's find the Hill Troll. There's a Necromancer's Reach. Hill Troll was towards the bottom. One of them. There's 2 of them. Okay, so we're only going to have 1 threat in staging. You know, not a big deal for this deck. This deck quests fine. And I guess my overall thought about Rohan, this deck here, is multiplayer. I've played it multiplayer with my son and some buddies, and I ran the Rohan deck because they're all new players, so I figured I should run this deck it's the least likely to get some cool combos going, or it also plays a little slower than the other decks. And in a multiplayer game, it was great. I mean, it was absolutely fine. So it just struggles in solo, especially with no Horn of the Mark. But maybe we can get lucky here. Okay, resources coming in. And please, 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 please. You know, I'll take it. Ancient Matham. I mean, it's card draw. I guess if I couldn't have found Horn of the Mark, I wanted to find Ancient Matham. So now we just need to reveal a location. Okay, the Oath of Errol, pretty cool. It's basically quick strike with everybody, so we can attack before the enemy attacks. So that's a way to take down the Hill Troll if I have enough attack. So I just need to get 12 attack on the table somehow, and we'll engage the Hill Troll, and I'll pay for Oath of Errol, and we will kill the Hill Troll before it attacks us. So that's my plan there. So I have a plan for the Hill Troll. Always good to have a plan. And now I've done this quite a few times with the Rohan deck. I play nothing, and I'm just sending Letherial and Hirgan to the quests. Technically, I should have exhausted Hirgan the exact same time I exhausted Letherial, and then Letherial is going to put in this Riddermark's Finest, who's exhausted and committed to the quest. So we get, it's a location, but it's the East Blight. All right, well, we make 4 progress, and here I go. I'm forgetting how Hirgan works. So before you place the progress, so hold on, Chad, don't place the progress quite yet. You're supposed to trigger Hirgan. So we did the math. We have quested successfully. We have more willpower than threat. So it's at this moment you can put in the ally with Hirgan's ability. And so this Riddermark Knight is only going to cost 1. And now you place the progress. So there's 2 threat and staging. We quested for 6. We are going to place 4 progress. And then, of course, we're going to travel to the East Blight. But first, we need to shuffle back in this Riddermark's Finest. And that's where Horn of the Mark would be great, because I would just exhaust it and draw a card after the Riddermark's Finest leaves play. If that's an ally, then I put that one in to quest. And you just keep repeating it. It's nice. It's really great. It is fun. But we can't do that. Okay. So now we have this huge location to get through. We're not engaging the Hill Troll, and we are at 28 threat. Here come the resources. The card we draw is... I'll take it. It's Goofloff. That is definitely one of the Rohan allies that I really like to get in play with Hirgan. We're going to put some Ancient Matham on that location, so when we do clear it, we get to draw 3 cards. Hopefully one of them is the Horn of the Mark. And I don't think I'm playing anything else, so let's go questing. The Riddermark Knight can attack for 4, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send Letherial and Eomer on the quest, and then Eomun, his dad, is going to come in with Letherial's ability, and when he leaves play, he readies all Rohan characters. So we get the Brownlands. Dang it. Oh, that card. It's come out so early in every single one of my games, so I don't make any progress. I was really thinking I was going to make a decent amount of progress here, but all right. Eomun leaves play after the quest phase is over. So we shuffle him back into the deck, and because he left play, he's going to ready all Rohan characters. So it readies Letherial and it readies Eomer. There's me saying, okay, Eomer just got boosted. And then now we are going to engage the Hill Troll, and then we're going to play the Oath of Errol. So it costs 3 tactics resources. You only can play it if you control a unique Gondor and a unique Rohan character. And then at the beginning of the combat phase, we resolve the attack step before the enemy does. So we are going to attack, and it says the beginning of the combat phase, so it's before shadow cards are dealt. So we're going to attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we're going to trigger the Riddermark's Finest, the Riddermark Knight's ability, and after he's declared an attacker, we're going to give him +2 attack, then he's going to have to leave. That's enough to kill the Hill Troll, and he's gone, so we did it. We killed the Hill Troll on turn 2, which is pretty awesome, and we have no cards in play except an Ancient Matham. So like I said, the Rohan deck, you just don't keep a board state, you just play smart. Wow, Eomun's back. It's crazy. That's just a 1-of. Okay, and so now, looking at my hand, it's kind of like we're starting a new game in a way. I just took care of one of the objectives of the quest, and my board state's pretty empty, but it's all right. All right, let's put in Eomun with Letherial's ability. We get a Surging Crows. Actually, I'm kind of glad to see those. And then, okay, Treacherous Fog. So each location in the staging area gets +1 threat. And then if our threat was 35, we'd have to discard a card from our hand. So we make a single progress. So once again, I placed the progress before I should. I have Hirgan I'm supposed to do. So Hirgan happens before we place the progress. We quested successfully, so that's nice. Goofloff only costs 1 because he gets a cost reduction if you control a Rohan hero. And then Hirgan reduces his cost by 1, so that's nice. So we have a defender on the table. And then Eomun's going to leave, and that's going to ready all my Rohan characters. And then I like the crows because they're so easy to kill. And, you know, if you kill them, they get shuffled back into the deck anyway. So you really don't want to kill them, but they're the perfect target for Firefoot. Okay, Letherial is defending, and defending character does not count its defense. Ah, crud. I was hoping to not take any damage, but we're just going to leave that crows engaged with us, because when I get another enemy engaged with me, hopefully I can just kill the crows with Eomer and then trample the other enemy with Firefoot. So those crows are going to be engaged with me until it's an opportune time to kill them. We draw the Westfold Lancer. That's a great one to get in play with Hirgan because it quests for 2. And then if I ever want to deal damage to an enemy, I discard it and deal 2 damage to the enemy in the staging area. Great for getting rid of those snipers. Hey, it's time to muster some Rohan. So it costs 4, but all your Rohan heroes are considered to have the spirit icon when you play it. We're going to look at the top 10 cards of my deck and put 4 Rohan allies in play. And then at the end of the round, they all leave. So I'm hoping to clear this location and, you know, let's move forward here. And it also kind of waters down my deck so I can hopefully find this Horn of the Mark. Okay, I was going to grab the Escort from Edoras, but actually I think I'd rather have the Escort from Edoras when I'm on stage 2 and I need to make 16 progress. So I'm going to grab that Horsebreaker that was in the top 10 instead. Okay, so I grabbed 4 allies and they all come in play. The Muster of Rohan is a really fun card to play. I mean, it's just a blast to play that card. So here's the allies I got. I got another Riddermark Knight. So that's the one that attacks for 4. We got the Outrider, who you can discard to grab an enemy from the staging area and pull it down. We got the Riddermark's Finest, which was definitely the ally I was trying to find. And then the Horsebreaker can ready a hero. But the Riddermark's Finest was mainly the reason I played the Muster of Rohan. So we're going to exhaust it and discard the Riddermark's Finest to place 2 progress on a location. And that gets rid of the brown lands. So the Muster of Rohan found me the ally I was really hoping to find, and it's really fun. Like, I really enjoy playing that card. It's really a fun card to play. So let's go questing. We're going to be questing for 6 against nothing. Let's clear this location. Maybe I want to add a little more. So there's 1 more, because I can chump with any of these other allies. Oh, Evil Storm. Nice. Okay, my threat is not 35, so that does nothing. And we are going to clear the location and place a progress on the quest. Hirgan quested, so if I had an ally that I wanted to play at a discount, I could play it, but I don't have one. So that is really great. And now we get to trigger Ancient Matham. So come on, Horn of the Mark. I just watered down my deck. I should be able to find it. Test of Will, Muster of Rohan, Horn of the Mark! Hey, I got it. Yes! All right. That is really good. Okay, combat phase. So definitely having one of my allies that are leaving play anyway defend here. And another Evil Storm goes away. Great. I'm just glad we're getting rid of those now because my threat will eventually get to 35. So the 3 allies that came in with the Muster of Rohan are now in my discard pile. I had thought about putting Will of the West in this deck so I could shuffle my discard pile back in, but I feel like this deck should be able to win in enough time where I don't completely deplete my deck. So hopefully I did that right. Okay, Feint. Good. Like I said, it's easier just to play these events than to actually defend. Okay, the Horn of the Mark. So you attach it to a Rohan hero or Mary, and then after a character leaves play that shares a trait with the attached hero, you get to draw a card. Alrighty. I want to get Firefoot in play, and I also want to get that ally in play, and I can't do both. So I'm going to quest, hopefully successfully, and then play the ally, and then next round we'll play Firefoot. So Letherial and Hirgan, we're going to quest for 5. We're up against nothing. We need to make a couple progress. And there's our little sniper. Okay, no problem. So we made enough to progress to the next quest stage. So now we're going to be revealing 2 cards in the encounter phase. And Hirgan, I did it again. I placed the progress before I did Hirgan. So the Westfold Lancer now will come in. And after he quests successfully, you can discard him to deal 2 damage to an enemy in staging. So he came in at a discount. We can engage the Goblin Sniper because no other enemies were in the staging area. And yep, 2 attacks coming. Again, I just don't want to lose a hero to some crazy shadow, like defending character doesn't count its defense or something. So let's play Feint, and we're going to feint the one attacking for 2. And then the Crows are attacking for 1. So Goofloff will defend here. Ooh, there is a shadow. +1. +3 if undefended. All right. And then I can kill the Goblin Sniper. So let's do that. And I grabbed the Crows here on accident, but then I quickly add them back. They're not dead yet. It's not quite dead yet. All right. So there we go. Okay. So we got to make 16 progress, and we're revealing 2 cards per round. And this is where I wish I had an escort from Edoras because they quest for 4. That would be extremely helpful. No characters left play, so I didn't get to trigger the Horn of the Mark this round. And we draw... Okay, I'll take it. The West Road Traveler. So when you play her from your hand, you can swap the active location with another location. But she quests for 2, so she's a great target for Letherial. Firefoot's in play, so now we can do some trampling. And I have a Test of Will. So I feel like I'm in the best spot I possibly could be at this moment. So now we're just going to try to make as much progress as we can. So there is 5, and Hirgan makes it 7, and then the West Road Traveler is going to come in exhausted for 9. And this is why Horn of the Mark works, because when she leaves play, I'm going to get a new card. Okay, we get the Necromancer's Pass for 3 threat, and the Brown lands. There's 2 of them. I cannot catch a break when I try to make a lot of progress. All I do is reveal that stupid Brown lands. All right, we travel there. You place the progress. But let's not forget, before I do that, this is weird timings, right? So before I do the travel phase, the West Road Traveler shuffles back into my deck. And then because that's weird, flip over. There we go. And because the character left play, we can trigger Horn of the Mark. So Horn of the Mark draws me, okay, the Westfield Outrider. That's fine. And then now we travel. As soon as you travel there, you place a progress on it. It goes away. And then we're getting attacked by some Crows, which, again, I'm not going to kill. So Goofloff will defend. And there's a Dolgaldor Orcs, +1. No problem. He defended for 2. Next round, guys. So our threat is 33, so we're still underneath that 35, which is when this quest gets a little harder. And we draw another Muster of Rohan, so we've drawn both of those. So I think we will be playing that next round. I want to save a resource for the Test of Will. So next round, we're going to muster some more Rohan. And I think when I quest of Letherial, I'm just going to put that Outrider in play so I can trigger Horn of the Mark and hopefully draw something that I'd rather have. I'd rather shuffle the Rohan ally into my deck so the Muster of Rohan can find it. Okay, so now we are only sending 7. We are already up against 3. Once again, I'm going to have to try to find a Riddermark's Finest with that Muster of Rohan. Oh my goodness, a second Hill Troll. And then, okay, cool, Evil Storm, we are now at 35, so we are okay. So we only added 1 threat. We're going to make 3 whole progress. Only 13 to go. So the Rohan deck's going to have to kill the Hill Troll twice. Okay. I mean, bring it on, right? This is the deck, I'm sure some of you were wondering how this was going to be able to take down this quest. And it's the deck where I have to kill the Hill Troll twice. And I've had to go through 2 copies of the Brown lands. So, I mean, if you were to say, which one of these decks do you not want to have the hardest game of Journey Along to Anduin thrown at it? You'd probably say the Rohan deck. But that's what's happening. Okay, cool. The Horn of the Mark drew me a cheap Rohan ally. The Muster of Rohan is a planning action, so we have to wait to play that next round. And we have a very interesting combat phase coming. Kind of wish I kept that feint. Well, I really don't have an option, so Goofloff's going to have to defend the Hill Troll. No Shadow. I have to raise my threat by 2. Now I'm at 35. And he's gone. Eomer is definitely powered up. And then I'm going to take these undefended. Oh, Necromancer's Reach, thank goodness. I didn't have a choice there either if I didn't want to deal some damage to the Hill Troll. So here's what I'm going to do. Eomer is attacking for 7, so when he attacks alone, he's going to attack the Crows, which has 0 defense, 1 hit point. And then the Crows get shuffled into the deck. I do that in a moment. And then the Hill Troll takes the other 6 damage. So Firefoot tramples it on there. So the Hill Troll's almost dead. I just got to get another attack from him. All right, 36 going into the next round. And we still have a lot of progress to go. All right, I shuffled the Crows back in, and we draw 4th Aerolingus. Each Rohan hero can be declared as an attacker against enemies in the staging area. That's really cool for this stage of the quest, because we don't have to engage anybody if we don't want to. But we're going to play another Muster of Rohan, and we're going to try to muster our way out of here. So once again, all heroes that are Rohan are considered to be Spirit. We're going to look at our top 10 cards, and we're going to put in 4 allies. So let's go. Who do we find? Okay, cool. We find another Lancer. We find another Knight. There we go. We find another Traveler, and we find another Riddermark's Finest. Ah, Quick Strike was my next card. If I hadn't played Muster of Rohan, I could have Quick Striked the Troll. Oh well. Okay. Riddermark's Finest is excellent. I'm really glad I found it. So once again, the Muster of Rohan has found me the Riddermark's Finest when I was looking for it. I'm going to look at these allies. So yeah, that's nice. So I'm going to be able to kill this Hill Troll, no problem. And let's do the Riddermark's Finest. So you exhaust and discard it to place 2 progress on a location. So we get rid of that pass. That's a nasty one to travel to. And then we get to trigger the horn right now. A second Test of Will. That's awesome because I'm revealing 2 cards. Okay, and Eomer is boosted. All right, sweet. Let's keep these allies in their own little area of the board so I remember which ones just came in. And then, yep, I could attack into the staging area if I wanted to. And then, you know, I'd be able to trample the Hill Troll. So if I get an enemy here, that's an interesting way to take out the Hill Troll. All right, I was going to pay for the Horse Breeder, but I think I'm just going to pop her in with Ethereal's ability, and because she has an enters play. It's not when you play it from your hand. So when the Horse Breeder enters play, I get to search my top 10 for a mount. Okay, we're going to quest for 2, 5. Let's send the 2 Lancers, so maybe we can damage an enemy if it gets revealed. So that's 4 more. And then we're going to pop in the Horse Breeder for 1, so that is a total of 10 being sent to the quest. And then I get to look at my top 10 cards for a mount and add it to my hand. So let's see what we find. There's Firefoot. Okay, so it didn't whiff. And, okay, it's already Firefoot. So Firefoot's unique. You only can have 1 copy in play. Give the deck a shuffle. We're going to reveal 2 cards. I have 2 Test of Wills in my hand. My threat is above 35. So let's see what we got. We still need 12 progress. Okay, a Surging Crow, so it came back. It surges into another Surging Crow, and then we get the Enchanted Stream, a 2 threat, and then a Banks of the Anduin for 1 threat, so that's a total of 5. That's going to put us at 9 progress total. Okay, it's getting there. I mean, we still have 7 more to go. And unfortunately, that 4th Aerolingus event is a combat action, so you can't trigger it before you do engagements. But I am going to trigger this Westfold Lancer. He's leaving play anyway, so I'm going to discard him. And I do this wrong. I'm so mad at myself. I even made a big point of talking about it when I talked about the Rohan mechanics. So you figure out the math. So I was making 5 progress. And then you trigger the Lancer's effect, and if it kills an enemy, you don't get to add an extra progress. The math was already done. I just placed an extra progress. I shouldn't have. It's just very confusing to me to trigger an ability that changes the amount of threat in staging before you actually place the progress, but that's how it works. Okay, we traveled to the banks of the Anduin. We are going to chump the hill troll, so we have to raise our threat by 4 more. That's going to get us all the way to 40. There goes Chieftain Uthank as the shadow. That's good to see that guy go away. And then we got the crows and, oh wow, and the Marshatter. Holy crap. So the hill troll, Marshatter, and Chieftain Uthank were all bunched together. Okay, so we took no damage from that attack. And then Eomer is going to attack the crows. And then Firefoot's going to trample the hill troll. And then the crows get shuffled back into the deck. So cool. The Muster of Rohan worked really well. We got the chumps in play. And we were able to kill that hill troll. It's just a shame I didn't have a quick strike, because then I could have quick struck the crows and then trampled the hill troll. Okay, so here's me remembering, oh yeah, that Westfold horse breeder, that came in with Letheriel's ability, so that ally should have left play at the end of the quest phase. So it's just a lot to remember with this deck, a lot of weird timings. It doesn't affect anything because I hadn't drawn a card since she should have left play. But yes, I had allies leaving play before placing progress. I had allies leaving play at the end of the quest phase. It's kind of crazy. This Rohan deck, I would not hand it to somebody who hasn't played much Lord of the Rings. If you have a buddy you're teaching the game and you have any of the other starter decks, I would literally give them any of the other ones and then save the Rohan one either for yourself or for later. Okay, resources got. Ancient Matham found, so we're going to draw some more cards. You know, once you start playing some Musters of Rohan, you're getting all these allies out of your deck, so you start drawing all the other cards a lot more frequently. I don't have any allies in hand, and we need to make 9 progress if we want to advance this round. I don't think it's going to happen, so once again, we're going to have to reveal 2 cards. And so let's send 5 there and 7. We are currently up against 2, and we get a Banks of the Anduin, and then there it is, Necromancer's Reach. But you know what? It doesn't kill anybody, so I'm not going to spend Letheriel's resource to cancel it. Everyone still lives, so let's just hold on to these Test of Wills, save our resources, and we added 1 threat. So we're going to make 4 progress, so 3 go on the Banks of the Anduin. That's now the top card of the encounter deck, and then 1 goes on the quest. So we know what one of the 2 cards is, and we get to draw 3 cards. So let's see what we get. Put it in the right discard pile. There you go. Okay, cool. The Rohan Warhorse, a Westfold Outrider, and then Wait No Longer, which would let me search the top 5 cards of the encounter deck at the beginning of the quest phase for an enemy and put that in play engaged with me. That's not bad, except I don't want to shuffle the encounter deck right now. I know the Banks of the Anduin are coming off of it, so I'm not going to play that Wait No Longer, but it's definitely a great card to play because if you find an enemy, you don't have to reveal 1 encounter card. All right, lots of resources. There's Quick Strike. All right, that's nice. Well, I have a lot of resources, and I still need to make quite a bit of progress, so we're going to play our 3rd copy of the Muster of Rohan. We're going to leave 1 resource on Letheriel so she can cancel whatever the next card is if I need to. And let's get 4 allies in play. And there was 10 cards. Nice. Okay, okay, great. Yes, we're getting good ones. And I once again have the Riddermark's Finest. So I think I might trigger all 3 Riddermark's Finest this game. That's nice. And then we're going to put in a Horse Breeder. So that means after I shuffle these cards back in, I get to look at the top 10, and I get to grab a mount. And my deck is basically 10 cards at this point. I have hardly any more cards than that. So let's see. Any mounts? Yep. Okay. So just making the deck even more consistent at this point. Hardly any cards left. A bunch of allies just entered play. We should be able to quest through and get to the final stage of the game, and I'm going to make sure we quest through. So I'm going to send as much willpower as I really think I can, and I'm actually kind of hoping between the 3 cards that will get revealed this round, if we do advance to stage 3, I'm hoping one of them is the Dol Guldur Orcs. I haven't been keeping track, so maybe there's none left in the encounter deck, but I'm hoping we get the Dol Guldur Orcs because they could kill Eomund, and that would ready all of my Rohan characters. But I got to get through. We got to get through. We know we're only revealing 1 threat with 1 of the cards. So let's just send 11 willpower. Card number 2 is the Misty Mountain Goblins, 2 threat. So that's 5. So that means we, at this moment, have made 6 progress. Okay, that's not enough. So we are going to trigger the Rittermark's Finest. So you exhaust and discard it, and that's going to clear the Enchanted Stream. So that goes away. So there goes 2 threat. And then that triggers the Horn of the Mark and Eomer. So we get... There's the Escort from Edoras. That's the one I was hoping to find with the Muster of Rohan. So now we have made 8 progress. So 3 plus 5. That will advance us to stage 3, and the good thing is we're putting a Banks of the Anduin on top of the deck. But before we place the progress, let's use Hirgon, and we'll put in an Outrider for 1 resource. And let's also trigger that Lancer and deal 2 damage to these goblins, because I want to try to win right here. When we advance to stage 3, we got to reveal 2 cards, but one of them is going to be these Banks of the Anduin, because that's going on top of the deck. So the odds are we might not reveal another enemy, and if I can quick strike with one of these allies and kill this Misty Mountain Goblins, that's it. We win. So we can just end the game right here. We are revealing 2 cards. We get to skip the quest phase. If there's no enemies in play, we win. The next card is awesome. Okay, that does nothing. It just adds threat to the staging area, which totally doesn't matter. So we can just travel, we engage these goblins, and then because they're almost dead, we will quick strike. So it's an action you can play at any time, so we'll just do it in the engagement phase. Spend 1 tactics resource to exhaust a character and declare him as an attacker. So the Outrider will attack for 2. There is no enemies in play, and so that's a victory. So the Rohan deck cleared 2 brown lands, killed 2 hill trolls, and took down this quest. Definitely the hardest deck to pilot through this quest, and I think you'll get more losses than you will with the other decks, but it's still a very interesting deck. It's very fun. Buy yourself the Saga expansions. That'll help you with this deck. I guess if I had to give a final thoughts on all these decks, the other 3 are really good buys, and the Rohan deck is probably the 4th buy if money's an issue. And I mean, it is a decent amount of money for all these decks. I would say the Sylvan deck is probably the one you're going to have the most fun with. It has the most interactions. You also get Elrond. So I would buy the Sylvan deck if you were just going to buy 1. And then I would buy the Gondor deck. The Dwarf deck is extremely good, but you get a lot of those cards in the Hobbit sagas. So I guess, again, if money is what is stopping you from buying all 4 of these, I think it would be better to try to collect the Dwarf cards by getting the sagas and the packs that they came in. And you can see what packs everything came in by going to RingsDB or Hall of Beorn. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this series. We're going to switch back to the single core series now that this is done. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye.